Hello, very nice to be here again. Welcome back. Nice to see you on this park bench. So there's quite a bit that's unfolding, and what we did last week began to set something in motion. We'll talk about that a little bit more as we kind of play in this space. But we're at a point where we're at one of the equinoxes. And in Mastering Alchemy, what we've done all along for the last number of years is kind of identified the equinoxes and the solstice, not so much for the position of the Earth in relationship to the sun, but kind of as a moment to say, where are we? What's happening? What's going on in this moment? And it's been very fascinating because every time we set it in motion and began to ask the question, we got an answer. And every answer was different and unfolded in some really interesting ways. One of the last answers was just simply a single word: smooth. Everything will be smooth. And as we played with that, it began to have a whole lot of meaning. Smooth. How do you use this word smooth? But this particular equinox is one of the more fascinating pieces of information. And this one does have to do with the alignments of the Earth, the sun, the planets, the solar system, etc., all very much coming into a much greater conscious awareness in people, more than just astrology has been in the past. It's all of a sudden beginning to make a lot of sense as it's coming together. But this particular equinox, the point where the Earth is right at the middle point between is furthest away from the sun, closest to the sun. This one was kind of bookended by two lunar eclipses and a super moon. And so everybody knows full moons, that gravitational pull, how it affects the emotions of the body. Many people have challenges. Many people begin to have lots of different things go on around these full moons. But this particular transition, and that's the bigger word here, transition, was very much presented as a closing of one chapter, a pause, take a breath, and an opening of an entirely new chapter. And so as we kind of go forward, this level of light that we're playing with is increasing continuously. I used to make the analogy, it's like the day beginning to happen. It just gets a little brighter, a little brighter, a little brighter. And that's what we're experiencing right now. As it's unfolding, there is quite a bit that's beginning to be illuminated in this process. And so we're going to play with some of that illumination today, and how do you deal with that? So there are many new people here. Welcome. Nice to have you here on this park bench. So the whole purpose of this park bench project that we're playing in has a number of meanings, but one very specific one, which is a gathering to really start to hold an attention point on creating a new realm of consciousness. As people are waking up and basically saying, there's got to be more. I don't like what's going on. I want to get more. This new realm of consciousness is beginning to be something that's very desirable. The purpose of the park bench is to build it, to construct it, to begin to put density to it, to begin to have it become magnetically attractive in aspects of love that draw more and more to it as we begin to wake up. As this new chapter begins to unfold from this particular point right now, this equinox, you're going to see some really fascinating things happen. And we're going to talk about the third dimensional experience beginning to just simply come to an end. Not some Armageddon, the world ends, just simply, we did that. It was interesting. Much of it worked. Now it's time to move on. It's really that simple. It's not a fight. It's not a push or shove. It's just simply kind of played there, learned a lot, got a lot of information. Now let's take it to another level. And that's the building of this architecture of this new realm of consciousness. So would you take a breath and just sit back and let's see where we can go? Because something we established in the last couple of sessions, but specifically last week when we played, you are the creator and you are the experience of the creation. Now, if you just pause and sit with that, it's pretty empowering. It simply says, I can pretty much do anything I want. And what it is I do, what it is I create, is the experience I get to experience. Pretty simple. But if you step back and begin to recognize what's being said, it's very powerful. The ability to create what I wish to experience and have the experience I wish to have is very much available to me. Now, previously in 3D, there were all kinds of interesting side effects, meaning mom, dad, teacher, minister saying, no, you can't, that's not how it works, do it my way, etc., etc. And that got in the way quite a bit. We gave up seniority to others to play the game. And then the way the game board was set up, the rules, the structures of the game board were set up in such a way that you needed to go to them, those over there, in order to be approved of, liked, accepted, and then you'd be successful and happy. Yeah, how'd that work? Well, it did work. It worked to some extent. It worked quite well in many situations, horribly terrible in other situations. But did you learn from it? And now, as this transition happens, one of the things that is going to become very valuable is to pay attention to what did I learn from my experience? Because it sets you in motion to the next experience. And as this light unfolds, one of the things that's coming with this light is that need to pay attention to other people's truths as it relates to my truth, my belief, my intention, my creation, my wanting, may be interesting to pay attention to and not something necessarily that I have to build into my creation. Now, you're going to see that just unfold. An aspect of this light that's beginning to be presented basically eliminates, so maybe that's not the right word here, basically allows for, loosens up all of those conditions that the third dimensional game board kept putting in front of you. Now just think about that, because right here, this is where the argument comes. Oh, no, you don't understand. It's here's my situation. Yeah, I get that. But what if all of a sudden the conditions, the limitations, the no, you can't, it's not available to you. What if that wasn't on the table? I mean, simply, what if it was not on the table? What if you began to think a set of thoughts and those thoughts begin to materialize into the creation that you, the creator, were creating? Now, just pause with that a minute, because we're going to play in this space a little bit today. Because what if I could remove the limitations? What if I could just push off the table the no's, you can't, you're not good enoughs, and just simply be the creator of what I desire? That's what's coming. That's what's starting to be available. But my mind doesn't get that yet. My mind wants to argue with yes, but, yes, but. So let's see, in building this new realm, whether or not, as we construct this architecture, begin to lay out the landscape, create the environment, build the atmosphere of joy, what if that was part of the architecture that as you were playing the game, you, the creator, created the experience to simply step into an experience? Now, what if? Now, let me take the what if off the table, because that's what's unfolding. So if you take a breath, kind of sit back, relax. Kind of be comfortable. And would you find a smile? Would you find an ease? Just a simple, I'm okay. I like me. It's a nice day. Pleasant temperature on this park bench today. Nice blue sky. Comfortable. Now, as this equinox begins to move from what was to point in what was prior, this pause, equinox, very much balanced, begins to be a clarity. And then there's a new chapter. You just recognize your feet on the ground, sitting in a chair. Really nothing to do except just take a breath right on this park bench. Yeah. Would you look outward? Maybe there's meadows, river, the ocean. Very pleasant at this point of pause, equinox, halfway between here and there. A balance, nothing leaning too much this way or that way. Just relax, comfortable. It's really an interesting point, this point of balance with clarity. That's what this equinox is bringing forward. It's very much a metamorphosis, a transformation. It's really kind of that proverbial caterpillar stepping into the butterfly. That's where we are. For some, a little bit confusing. It's like, for many, confusing. Trying to hold on to what was, playing by the rules of what was, because I'm supposed to. Playing in the duality of that third dimensional game, good and bad, this is right, that's wrong. But what if there was a third choice? What if the third choice was just simply take a breath and step back, not engage? And see, in that pause right here, if you just kind of look out on what's out in front of you, like calmness, quiet, beautiful from my park bench, all the things that I would like my world to be, right there, just right there. But I have to work hard to get there. But what if you didn't? What if you didn't have to work hard? What if work actually was something you wanted to do? If it became play, it became like, I'm really excited creating my experience. Just a nice smooth breath. You see, this new chapter is beginning to just present possibilities and opportunities, new awarenesses. They're just presenting them. They are not required. There's nothing demanding. It's just an opportunity, a possibility, a new awareness. I didn't know that before. Oh, that makes it so much easier than where I thought I was supposed to be. You see, there's this awareness, is that third dimension, particularly if you kind of look at the world right now. There's just lots of noise, lots of motion, lots of push and shove. It's like being in a very cold river, pushing down the river, and there's just no way out of this river. It's cold, it's choppy, it's uncomfortable, it's threatening. I don't have any power right here in this river. And then all of a sudden, there's just this one branch sticking out, and you grab a hold of the branch, and it kind of pulls you towards the shore. And all of a sudden, you find yourself on the shore, and take a breath, and instantly, a whole level of that risk, that threat, just went away. I'm not in the river. I'm still cold and wet, disoriented. I'm not sure how to proceed from right here, this moment, but a whole level of threat, a big exhale just occurred. You see, for many, that's exactly where we are. We're just waking up. It's even a little confusing that I'm not at risk. But yes, but what happened? It may come back. What if the river rises? What if? Sure. But see, you're on the shore. You're on the edge. You could stand up. You could take a step further away from that cold river. And then all of a sudden, you're not in the river. You're just simply, that's not part of the reality anymore. But some will argue that, the river's rising, and I really, I need to be really aware. I need to keep giving attention to the river. But you see, this level of transformation where we are, the river is no longer the issue. In fact, much of the issue is no longer the issue. You're on the shore. You're in a new place, and you begin to realize it's kind of a meadowy area. It's grassy, it's comfortable, the sun's out, I'm drying up. What was isn't anymore. And then as you kind of stand up on the shore and you look out, and wow, it's quite beautiful. And it's comfortable. And there's possibilities and opportunities. There's new awarenesses. And there's somebody right there that's saying, can I give you a hand? You see, this space of co-creation, this opportunity is right here. That competition advantage, that's kind of in the river. It doesn't exist here on this shoreline. Just another breath. And all of a sudden you can begin to realize I can create my experience. In fact, here I am in some ways naked, standing in a very new space, unfamiliar, very desired, but unfamiliar in a way. I can put something warm on. boom, I can begin to go for a walk over there. No restrictions. I could begin to enjoy myself. You see, right here as this transition is unfolding, the ability to begin to give to yourself, have for yourself, takes on a different configuration. It's not taking from somebody else, it's giving to myself, beginning to enjoy myself, have for myself. And very quickly you begin to realize I have plenty. I can give to others now that I have. That third dimensional game, which I never had anything to really give, but here, as the creator creating the experience, I can create the experience to enjoy myself 100% and assist, nurture, uplift, play with, enjoy others 100%, giving to them, being in service to them, playing together 100%. You see, that's what happens when everything of that third dimensional game, the shoulds and don'ts and not okays, that doesn't exist here where you're stepping into. Now you can continue to give attention to the noise, distractions, terrible things on one level that are going on all over. But if you were to pause and really ask the question, not from an uncaring place, but ask the question, how much of all of that that's in front of me, the noise, has anything to do with me? How much of what is noise and motion and experiences, other people's experiences, other people's creations, that third dimensional game board, how much of it has anything to do with me? Now, see, part of the third dimensional game board is engaging with the noise. Oh, if I can distract you, if I can keep your attention over here, I can keep you angry about insulting those, etc. Game board's happy, playing the game. But the minute I begin to recognize I can step back from engagement, the game changes. Now, just take another breath. And so we're in the process of building this octave, very much the shoreline versus the river. The octave allows for a nice deep breath. It's joyful, warm. There's a sense of ease. All of the noise does not exist in this octave. Just one step up, one octave up. Just raise your energy right here into that octave. Take a breath. Exhale. Here it is, the park bench, sitting right here. It's comfortable, relaxed. There's a joy. I'm happy. And there's a smile within me. And it's very light in weight. There's a buoyancy. It's as if you're just kind of floating. There's no tension in the body. Very relaxed. And there's a light. It's very comfortable. There's no shadows. It's just very present. This light, nurturing. And there's this feeling. It's this part of the architecture. We began creating it in this last session, if you recall. Right here, would you be aware of that sacred heart? It's just simply a breath. It's comfortable. It's very much the octave. I like me. Right here, I'm pleased with me. I appreciate me. Now, for some, that may sound selfish, and the answer is yes, it is. Congratulations. I'm giving to myself. You see, if I can't have for myself, how can I give to others? How can I participate if I don't have anything for myself, can't enjoy myself, like myself, pleased with myself? I have nothing to reflect to others. So the selfishness, what a great thing, two ends of the stick. Nobody really likes the one that says, I'm going to step on you, use you, take advantage of you, abuse you to be successful. Nobody really likes that, not even the person who's doing it. They just are so much in pain. But the other end of the stick, the one that says, I can have for myself. And as I have, I can enjoy. And as I enjoy, as octave, I have much to give, reflect, to be seen by others. Nurture, uplift, laugh with others, assist others, play with others. It feels nice. But right here in this heart space, would you just notice there's a sense of oneness. There's a reverence being this very comfortable awareness. It's like, whoa, something really big is right here. Me. One with. And as you kind of find that smile in the heart, and there's a sense of beauty. It's a feeling, it's an awareness, it's an aspect of love, very magnetic, very attractive to you when allowed, and becomes very attractive to others. You begin to be seen for the love that you are reflecting out to others, and others begin to match that energy, begin to absorb that aspect of love. It's there for everyone. And just another breath, and this time quiet. Look around. And there in the heart is that elegant crystal pink aspect of love, kind of a diamond-shaped crystal. It's an aspect of love that's always been there. It's this unconditional love for all, everything. And where we played in this last session, establishing that, bringing in that color red and blue and beginning to weave it together and create that vortex, and this violet flame began to rise up out of that pink diamond, anchoring unconditional love consciously in the heart. You see, it's a part of the architecture. It doesn't go away. It's no longer a fleeting concept of, oh, I love that, and I love this, and oh, I'm angry at that over there, that thing that I'm engaged with over there. See here that you're out of the river. Here that violet flame that's now extended up into the pineal center of the head begins to open consciousness in an unconditional manner. Here I am. And in this space, the game board changes. The you should and you can't, and the good and the bad and the right and the wrong, that doesn't exist any longer. Doesn't exist any longer here. Now, just take a breath, and would you allow that concept? You see, this is the space where you get to step out of the good or bad. What if I'm just not going to play that game? Third dimension game board. In the octave, there is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong duality. There just simply are choices to play in. And that smile begins to get a little larger. You mean I can just create what I would like? Yes, that's what we mean. I can play with whoever I wish? Yeah, that's what I mean. They wish to play with you also. And that smile in the heart, you just find that smile. And this sense of appreciating yourself, allowing yourself, happy with yourself, that begins to just be reflected to others. And it begins to be softer and smoother and more elegant. And there's an ease and a joy and a buoyancy to this. And permission, allowing, creating. Would you just kind of notice right here? And what if we could build this into the architecture, this permission, allowing, creating, enjoying, and just kind of begin to weave it as those constructs of architecture of a new realm of consciousness where you admire the creation of others, others admire you. Nice smooth breath. And would you find the feeling again of comfortable and just kind of be comfortable, relaxed. But right here, very present. Would you take a breath and would you be here? Not floating, not somewhere else, not other thoughts, right here. Now, as you begin to play right here, as you begin to enjoy yourself and begin to be conscious of others, in this unconditional love, there is a word, a vibration that also doesn't really exist in the third dimensional game. Not experienced in the third. You have to step out of the third dimensional game into a different kind of dimensional space to experience compassion. Compassion. Interesting word. But in the third dimensional game, you have sympathy, you have empathy. Two words very connected to the emotions, the engagements of others, the rights, the wrongs, the engagement. But here, right here in this octave, compassion begins to be a building block. Now, a word very misunderstood by most. It's not a place where you have the same kind of empathy that has been had in the third dimensional game. Empathy, I feel your pain or your experience. As you begin to step into compassion, I'm aware of your experience, but I do not draw it through me. What happens as you begin to recognize compassion, it is very uplifting in terms of giving another an opportunity to step out of the river. It begins to be a field of light, very tangible, very powerful healing energy that simply uplifts others. You do nothing in terms of empathizing or meeting them where they are. You simply hold a higher level of the octave. It's in compassion that multiple vibrations begin to come into play, not just a feeling, but an opportunity for others to find the light within them to step out of that river. It's like a giant light of wisdom not so much a empathetic feeling for others. In compassion with others, their lives begin to change on their terms, not yours, their terms, because they're able to see more clearly in this level of architecture that is being created. Compassion. But compassion is not engaging. Empathy, very engaging. I feel your problem, your circumstance. But this aspect of architecture, unconditional love, compassion, building a new realm of experience. Now, there's a joy in this. Can you find that joy? You mean I can radiate a level of light called compassion that allows others to more clearly understand their path, organize it, and choose instantaneously from this octave. Yes. Now, another breath. But where empathy has engagement, compassion does not have the engagement. So where in your life are you unable to find compassion because of engagement? Where do you engage with the life that you live? Engagement. Well, let's look at the parts that say, I don't like that. I'm angry with this. That's wrong. Duality, third dimension. Compassion allows for stepping out of the third dimension. It's in the magnetics of the emotion of engagement. The I don't like, I've been damaged, you don't understand, I'm hurt. But this is the right thing to do. They are wrong what they're doing. I'm engaged with righting wrongs or arguing with those that hurt me. Can you take a breath here in this octave? Just notice if you fell out of the octave. Understandable. Would you just simply go back? Just take a breath, present, quiet, comfortable. I like me. Would you find the I like me? The smile. You see, right here, that's part of this engagement. Oh, wait, you don't understand. I'm still hurt over there. Yeah, I understand. But would you be right over here? Would you be right on the park bench? Oh, look at those mountains over there. Over here, the dolphins in the little pool of water down there. Quite beautiful. Would you find the beauty and the smile for a moment? Nice smooth breath. It's a pleasant day. Sky's blue. It's warm, light breeze. Grass is green. Cute little chipmunk right over there. This is good. I'm having a nice day, you might say. I like me. The landscape is attractive in my octave. This architecture of unconditional love, something to be really played with more and more. A tool of creation. And this compassion, it's not engaged with, it's not feeling the challenge of another. It simply begins to be the well-being of the environment. It holds respect, kindness, gratitude, appreciation. It assists, it uplifts, it nurtures, it simply provides possibility. But in a way that does not exist in the third dimensional game previously experienced. There's a beauty in this light of compassion, a joy, it's an excitement. And it's simply the place of recognizing I could engage, but right here I'm going to choose to disengage. As you move from this third dimensional space into this fifth multi-dimensional octave, would you just notice yourself where you're engaged? Ooh, don't jump in it, just notice. And if you just disengaged, stopped the fight, the push, the shove, the argument, the anger, just step away, just step back, right here for a moment. If that engagement has to do with another, would you just ask yourself, would I change places with this person? Would I walk in their shoes? And if the answer is no, would you simply allow them to be who they are as you just disengage from the energy that I hold in that situation? The question, does it really have anything to do with my well-being holding on to this engagement? As you take a breath, would you be in that sacred heart? And there's a tremendous beauty and ease. There's a joy right here. You see, in this space right here, this joy, this ease, this laughter, this happy, this engagement with the feeling of others, really engaged. We played with that octave. It's like going to a great party with your best friends and enjoying yourself, that feeling of joy right here in this space of compassion, laughter, joy, ease. It's an energetic configuration unlike most that has ever been experienced. It's not the word of the third dimension. It's the vibrational field of light of the multi-dimension. It's a state of being. Would you take a breath and would you just let this compassion begin to expand? There's a golden luminescence to this light. It just begins to appear right in the heart. Begins to expand just so smoothly, comfortable. I like me. And the engagements fall away. They just fall off the table. I like me. I'm pleased with me. Very simple, very simple. There's no push, no argument, there's no engagement, nothing to engage. In this octave, possibilities, opportunities, excitement. I am the creator, creating the experience I choose to create. This light of compassion, much bigger, much expanded from the simple word of the third dimensional concept. Can you feel it? It begins, that golden light just begins to, it ripples, it tingles, and everything unlike it falls off the table. It's a pillar of the architecture. Quite grand. And as the engagement falls away, the investment in the argument, the hurt feelings, just, I'm no longer going to be engaged. Holding that old, why did that happen question that, doesn't have really any value. It's just a habit. It's in this light of compassion that just think I'm back. Hello, there's a whole bunch of you there. Okay, so let's take another couple of minutes and finish this up. My error, I assume I must have pushed the button somewhere I was not intending to. So let's just take a few more minutes. If you'd kind of take a breath, and then how skilled are you at simply one breath back in that octave, in that feeling of compassion? Now, in a way, these kind of events are going to happen often in the future. Events where you are in a really good space and something steps in and interrupts that space. Doesn't mean it destroys that space, doesn't mean it causes reaction. It's just simply, can you step back and allow the event to unfold and then be able to choose how to simply engage with where you wish to create your experience? As we begin to play in this octave, as it's starting to gel, as it's starting to have the architecture, as it's starting to form, the opportunity to simply get disrupted and then one breath back into this space that you're wishing to create is going to happen less and less and less. The disruption is going to happen less and less. And the ability to become masterful at the creation that you're intending begins to be the skill that you are developing. So with that, one more breath, if you would you be very present? And would you become aware of the room that you're sitting in, and yet still very much in this octave? Happy on the park bench? Would you notice your feet on the floor without leaving this feeling? Would you notice you're in a room? And then one or two more breaths. And would you allow your eyes to open, but still staying in this vibration of this octave that you're creating? Another breath. Wiggle your toes. I like me. As we begin to move out of this equinox, as we begin to move into this next cycle of experiences, changes, that third dimensional world is going to continue to do what it's doing. But this level of this octave is beginning to illuminate very significantly. And the ease and the joy, the buoyancy, and the awareness that a lot of the noise that I have been engaged with is no longer there will begin to be more and more what you're going to experience. So with that, play with this over the next few weeks. We'll go away, come back, and we'll start to add more pieces of this architecture as we construct from the park bench. So with that, step back. I enjoy you. Blessings. We'll play again.